99, Hilchos Leila Seder 1 and 2. We'll try to complete everything tonight. We left off by Motzi Matzah. And the consumption of matzah is another one of the primary mitzvahs of the Seder night, and is mentioned explicitly in the Torah. But there is a dispute in Masechta Pesachim whether the eating of matzah today without the Korban Pesach is midrabanan or midoraisa. So Masechta Pesachim Kufches, Amar Rava.
We did Ratzah? We did Ratzah.
We did.
Did Ratzah?
We finished with Magid, so I don't
We didn't do
remember
Ratzah.
doing Ratzah.
We did Magi, we stopped at
Okay.
Magi.
We'll go back to do Rachza. The Gemara in Pesachim states that even though one has already washed his hands before eating the karpas, one must wash his hands again before the bracha of Hamotzi, because he's experienced a hesachadas, a lack of concentration, while reciting the Haggadah and the Hallel. We're going to see soon that it's in dispute whether the recitation of the Haggadah is a hefsek or not. So, for example, if you've done Netilas Yadayim on Shabbos for Hamotzi, we know you're allowed to say, go get some salt, right? And it's not considered a hefsek. So because why? Because it's the Inyan. It's part of the Inyan of. It's connected to the Hamotzi. Well, the Haggadah is certainly connected to the Seder. So there are going to be opinions, as we're going to see later, that perhaps it's not so poshut that the recitation of the Haggadah is a hefsek. So the Gemara
We just
Masechta.
said today, like we learned in the doc, on the Netilas Yadayim, if you make it a Netilas and you have a mind for the whole day, there's no hefsek. Even if you're, as long as you make a Birchas Hamazon, you can say Netilas Yadayim morning for bread, and you can eat later on, 6 hours later, even though it's after.
Well, if you
72
bench,
minutes.
though-
No, but if you bench, it's a hefsek. But if you don't
Yeah,
bench,
okay, if you don't.
even though it's more than 72 minutes.
But there's a.
That's what the
That's
Gemara.
only,
the
but the
Gemara.
Gemara says that it's only for people who have it, but the Evid,
Okay,
it's
so-
not
Not even be able to, so if you have in mind to do it, we can.
only if you're from the workers that you can't do something else.
So the Gemara Masechta Pesachim says like this: Lama li netilas yadayim trei zimni. Hamashale yadachad zimna. Rava says, the Gemara says we already washed our hands. Why are we washing our hands again? Because kivan de boy lememra gadata v'halel. Right, the first two stanzas of Hallel we say as the last part of Magid. So we've said Magid and we've said Hallel. Dilma asuch aschiladaitav. So he maybe took his mind off the fact that he washed his hands. Maybe he's going to touch something impure. He has to wash his hands again. So the Rishonim write, though, that if one guarded his hands carefully and ensured they didn't touch anything unclean, he does not have to wash again. As the Shibbolei Aleket, who was a Rishon, said, "V'kiven shetol hatam besachadas," since the Gemara seems to have given the concept that the problem is Hesachadas, in Borurlo, if it's clear to him, Shishimar Yodav Edi, that he washed his hands well. He watched his hands. V'lo naga b'kisvei kodesh, right? Chazal made a special gzeira that if you touch a Megillah, for example, people used to store their Megillas with truma, and since truma there's shrotzim there, so there was a special gzeira that you shouldn't put it, you shouldn't put it away. So therefore, if you touch a Megillah, it's Tomei. So therefore, let's say somebody touched Kisvei Kodesh or with other things that are Metamim Yadayim, so there is an opinion of the Shibbolei Aleket that if a person was very careful, he doesn't have to wash again. However, the Beis Yosef, remember, is Rav Yosef Karo who comments on the Tur. Remember, the Tur is the son of the Rosh. It was the predecessor of the Shulchan Aruch. He quotes very specifically, "V'nirali de'ein lachaven bekach." You shouldn't do this lechatchila to rely on the first. Sh'lo levatel takanos chachamim shetiknu litol pamayim b'leil Pesach. Remember, we have a seder. Our children sing Kadesh or Chad. Right? So the Chazal were established that. So the Beis Yosef doesn't want us to veer from that.
So will you make a bracha then on the first one, if you're gonna be careful all the way through?
L'chora, you'd have to, according to Shibboleth, but that's not, again, the Chazal were established the same the way we do.
You did.
The Bir Halacha, remember, the Bir Halacha is the Mishnah Berurah, but besides his comments of the Mishnah Berurah, he will sometimes go into detail about certain subjects. Writes that if one purposely had no lapse of concentration, one should still wash one's hands, but without a bracha. He adds that the best suggestion in this scenario is for him to touch something unclean, like use the bathroom, after which he may wash them and recite a bracha. And he says it. בוודאי צריך לחזור וליטול ידיו וכתלאל, סימן קנ"ח, ובפרט שלא כיוון מתחילה לאכילה, כל פנים אינו לברך, but לבוא שם, והנכון שבאופן זה יטמא ידיו, if you're going to do it that, you should still be מטמא ידיים, קודם הנטילה, כדי שיוכל לברך, so you'll be able to make a bracha.
No, we pass them. We make a bracha.
We make a bracha. I'm saying, if somebody wanted lechatchila to rely on this thing that he's going to be shomer his hands, he's giving you the aids of how to do it, and still make the second bracha. But because he's saying, otherwise you wouldn't have to make another bracha.
Well, you didn't make a bracha the first time around.
If you're going to do this part, we're going to wash your hands, you'd have to make a bracha on the first time
Yeah,
around.
but we didn't make a bracha
On the urchatz. But that's what I'm saying. If the person is going to have in mind, like the shiboli aleket, that he's going to wash his hands, he would make the bracha initially on the urchatz. But again, you saw that the Beis Yosef doesn't like doing all of that because you're going against the way Chazal